Have you noticed your legs aren't as strong as they used to be? Climbing a short flight of stairs feels harder. Carrying groceries takes more effort. And sometimes just keeping up with your grandkids feels impossible. Most people think, well, that's just aging. But what if I told you the real reason isn't age at all, and the solution might already be sitting in your morning cup of coffee? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you how one simple change to your daily ritual could help you walk with strength, confidence, and independence again. So why do our legs lose their strength after 60? It's not just about getting older, and it's not just because you're not exercising enough. There's a hidden process inside the body, a quiet shift that slowly makes your muscles weaker, no matter how well you eat or how active you try to be. In this first part, I want to share with you the real reason behind this weakness, and the surprising science of how your morning coffee might become the key to turning it all around. Let's imagine a quiet, peaceful morning. The sun has just begun to rise, its soft light slipping through the curtains. In the kitchen, the aroma of fresh coffee drifts through the air. For so many of us, that warm cup of coffee is a ritual that starts the day, a steaming mug in hand, clearing the mind, sharpening our focus. But then, at 60, 70, or even 80, have you noticed something strange? The mind may still feel awake and sharp, but the legs don't seem to keep up the way they used to. A short flight of stairs feels like a bigger decision than it once was, each step. Slower, less steady, carrying groceries from the store, a task once so simple, becomes a challenge, and maybe the hardest part is trying to keep up with your grandkids at the park and realizing your legs just don't have that same burst of energy anymore. Have you ever felt that way? Many of my patients, sitting across from me in my office, sigh and say, "Well, doctor, I guess I'm just getting old, that's normal." But I usually smile, shake my head, and tell them, yes, age is part of the story, but not the whole story, because behind that weakness lies something deeper, a biological process called sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle. And sarcopenia is not just about feeling weaker. It slows your metabolism. It makes weight gain easier. It affects your balance. It raises the risk of falls. It even opens the door to type 2 diabetes. I always remind my patients, muscles aren't just about looking strong. They are the foundation of your health, your independence, and even your longevity. Picture this with me. Your body is like a construction site. Muscles are the walls, protein from your food, the bricks. Exercise is the signal telling the workers, hey, let's reinforce this wall. When you're young, the system works perfectly, but after 60, the foreman on the site, your anabolic signaling system, goes a little deaf. He doesn't hear the orders clearly. You have bricks. You have the signal, but the walls don't get rebuilt. This is what we call anabolic resistance. One of my patients, Linda, 72, told me, I eat well, I practice yoga every day, but my muscles keep shrinking, and my legs tremble more and more. That's when I introduced her to a very special key. It's called leucine, an essential amino acid your body can't produce on its own. Leucine isn't just another brick. It's the switch that flips the whole building system back on. Imagine a messenger bursting into the foreman's office, banging on the door and shouting, "Wake up, we've got bricks, we've got work, let's build." When leucine in your bloodstream reaches a certain peak, it activates a pathway called mTOR, the master switch for muscle growth. And here's what excites me most. You don't have to search far and wide for it. The easiest way to harness leucine is to add it straight into your morning coffee. There are 3 powerful reasons why this works so well. First, in the morning on an empty stomach, leucine goes straight into your blood without competition, like a VIP, with a clear path to the front row. Second, coffee with its caffeine widens your blood vessels. It helps leucine travel faster. It makes your body more metabolically active. And third, coffee is already a daily habit. You don't need to create a new ritual. You just enhance the one you already have. I think of Robert, 68, who used to struggle to walk more than a few hundred feet before he had to rest. After 2 months of starting his day with this muscle-charging coffee, he told me he climbed hills with his wife on a trip to Europe. His eyes welled up as he said, Doctor, I feel like I've turned back the clock at least 10 years. You see, sometimes the answer isn't an expensive supplement or exhausting hours in the gym. Sometimes it's right there in the cup you've been holding every morning, one small change, with the power to reawaken the strength of your youth. So I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself if one simple action, one tiny habit, could keep your legs steady, reduce your risk of falling, keep your mind sharp, and allow you to live your later years with freedom and independence. Wouldn't you be willing to try it? In the previous part, I shared with you the real reason why our legs weaken after 60. Anabolic resistance. It's the condition where the body stops responding well to the usual signals to build muscle, and we also discovered the key to unlocking this barrier. Leucine, an amino acid that can reignite the body's muscle-building system, especially when paired with your morning coffee. Now, let's take a deeper look at how to put this into practice. I want you to think of it as a new morning ritual. Simple, effective, and seamlessly tied to a habit you already enjoy. When you wake up, your body has gone many hours without food. Your stomach is empty. Your digestive tract isn't busy processing nutrients. This is what I call the golden window, the perfect time for leucine to do its job. It's like driving on an empty road. The message from leucine travels smoothly and quickly to your muscle cells. I remember one of my patients, James, age 74. He once asked me, "Doctor, I drink protein-rich milk every morning, so why don't I feel stronger?" I explained to him that just eating more protein isn't enough. When leucine is mixed with many other amino acids in a meal, it struggles to reach the concentration peak needed to wake up the mTOR pathway. But when he took pure leucine on an empty stomach, stirred into a hot cup of coffee, the effect was completely different. A few weeks later, at his follow-up, James smiled and said, "I climbed the church stairs without holding onto the rail." A hot cup of black coffee is the perfect vehicle. Coffee doesn't contain sugar or competing amino acids, so leucine flows into the bloodstream unhindered. And the caffeine in coffee works like a road opener. It dilates blood vessels, helping nutrients reach the muscles faster. It also revs up your metabolism, making your muscle cells more responsive to leucine's signal. But here's something I always emphasize: precise dosage matters. Many people think a little sprinkle is enough, but science shows you need about 2.5 to 3 grams of pure leucine at once to create the spark your body requires. Less than that won't do the job, more won't bring extra benefits. So in the beginning, I encourage patients to measure carefully with a small kitchen scale until they get used to the right amount. An ideal morning might look like this. After waking, drink a large glass of water. Add a squeeze of lemon or a pinch of sea salt if you like to rehydrate and restore electrolytes. Then brew your usual coffee. The simpler, the better. Black coffee without sugar or milk is ideal. Stir in 2.5 to 3 grams of pure leucine powder. Yes, leucine has a slightly bitter taste, but the bold flavor of coffee masks it well, and you'll get used to it quickly. Drink it within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, when your body is most ready to absorb it. And then, just as important, move your body. You don't need a gym. Simply stand up and sit back down from a chair 10 times, or take a short walk around the yard. I like to call this shaking hands with leucine, sending a second clear signal to your muscles. Yes, we need you to build. Another patient of mine, Susan, age 69, was anxious because her knees trembled when she went shopping. After keeping this routine for 6 weeks, she told me, "The miracle isn't just that I'm stronger, it's that I feel confident again." That's exactly what I want for everyone. It's not just about strong muscles. It's about freedom, independence, and the quiet assurance that your body still belongs to you, so think about it. One small change to your morning coffee could create a huge difference, not only for your legs, but for your joints, your bones, your memory, and even your spirit. A simple action that takes seconds, yet its benefits can last for years. In the next part, I'll share more about the ripple effects of maintaining muscle. From burning fat to stabilizing blood sugar to protecting your brain and reducing inflammation. you'll see that keeping your muscles strong is about far more than just your legs. It's the foundation for a healthier, fuller life in your later years. In the first two parts, we talked about the real reason why your legs begin to weaken after 60, and how adding leucine to your morning coffee can act like a switch, turning the muscle-building system back on. But I want you to see something even more clearly. Muscle strength isn't just about your legs. It radiates throughout your entire body and protects your health in ways that are both powerful and profound. Think of your muscles as the engine of a car. When the engine is strong, every other part runs smoothly. But when the engine weakens, the whole machine slows down, burns more fuel, and breaks down more easily. In your body, muscles are that engine. Keeping them strong means keeping your life energized. One of the greatest benefits of healthy muscles is a faster metabolism. When we're young, we hardly think about weight because abundant muscle mass burns calories even at rest. But after 60, as muscles shrink, metabolism slows and fat accumulates, even if you're not eating more. I remember one of my patients, a leaner 66, she said, "Doctor, I eat less than I used to, but my weight keeps climbing." After a few months of sticking to her leucine coffee habit, combined with light activity, she was surprised to find her weight dropping, her waistline shrinking, and most importantly, her energy returning throughout the day. And it doesn't stop there. Muscles act like giant sponges for sugar in the blood. After you eat a meal with carbohydrates, nearly 80% of that glucose should be absorbed by your muscles. But when muscle mass declines, that sugar lingers in the blood. It leads to insulin resistance and paves the way for type 2 diabetes. I often tell my patients, strong muscles are your shield against diabetes, and countless clinical studies back this up. Muscles are also a natural suit of armor for your bones and joints. When your legs are strong, they stabilize your knees and hips, reduce pressure, and protect you from arthritis. At the same time, the healthy pull of strong muscles signals your bones to stay dense and solid. That's why people who maintain muscle mass are less likely to suffer from osteoporosis or fractures after a fall. I recall one of my patients, Harold, 70. He broke his wrist from a minor slip. After that scare, he committed himself to rebuilding muscle. 2 years later, he proudly told me, "Doctor, I can do 20 squats in a row, and I'm no longer afraid of falling." But perhaps the most surprising link is between muscle and memory. Research shows that maintaining muscle and staying active helps your body release molecules called myokines. These act like anti-inflammatory messengers, nourishing the brain. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients, reaching your mind, improving memory, focus, and clarity. One patient, Maria, told me after 3 months, "It's not just that my legs feel stronger. I actually remember the little things again. I don't forget my car keys or my lunch dates anymore." You see, muscles don't just help you walk more steadily. They protect your blood sugar. They keep your weight in check. They shield your joints. They reduce inflammation. And they even lift your mind and memory. That's why I always tell my patients, building muscle isn't about vanity. It's one of the most powerful, anti-aging strategies you can give yourself. And all of it begins with something as simple as a cup of coffee supercharged with leucine. One small change leading to a cascade of positive effects for your entire body. In the next part, I'll guide you through a step-by-step morning ritual. What to do right after you wake up, how to prepare and drink it, and the simple exercises you can do at home. If you've ever wondered, "Doctor, where do I even start?" the next part will give you the clear answer. In the morning, when you open your eyes and see the first light of day streaming through the window, that moment is when your body and mind are at their freshest. And it's in that very moment that, if you know how, you can set the foundation to reclaim your strength, your stability, and your confidence in your own body. I like to call this the morning ritual for strong legs. It's not complicated, and it doesn't require you to overhaul your entire life. Instead, it's simply a series of small, easy steps. But when repeated day after day, those small actions create a profound transformation. The first step, as soon as you wake up, is to refresh your body with a tall glass of water. Overnight, you've lost fluids, and rehydrating is like jump-starting your whole system. Add a squeeze of fresh lemon or a pinch of sea salt if you like, and you'll replenish electrolytes while preparing your body to absorb nutrients more effectively. Next comes the part you're most familiar with, brewing your morning cup of coffee, but now you're going to transform it into what I like to call a muscle therapy coffee. Measure out about 2.5 to 3 grams of pure L-leucine powder and stir it directly into your black coffee. Mix well until it dissolves completely. Leucine has a slightly bitter taste, but the bold flavor of coffee covers it almost entirely. And as you drink it, I want you to imagine that you're sending a clear command to your body. Start building strength again. Timing is critical. Drink it within 30 to 60 minutes of waking while your stomach is still empty. This is when leucine is absorbed the fastest, the strongest, and at the peak concentration your body needs. But let me emphasize this. Drinking alone isn't enough. You need to send a second signal to your muscles. Movement. No gym, no heavy weights required. I often guide my patients through simple exercises at home. For example, sit down and stand up from a chair 10 to 15 times, place your hands on a table and do a few supported squats, or just take a short 10-minute walk around the house or garden. One of my patients, David, 71, was hesitant at first. He told me, "Doctor, my knees hurt. I'm afraid exercise will make it worse." I explained that we're not chasing exhaustion. We're simply sending the muscles a message. We need you. So he started with just 5 sit-to-stands each morning. 2 months later, he proudly said to me, "Now I can do 20 without holding onto the chair." The smile on his face was living proof of the power of a simple ritual. When you combine leucine in your coffee with light movement, your body receives 2 signals at once, one nutritional and one physical. Together, this synergy rewakens the muscle-building system and helps overcome the barriers of age. And then you just repeat it. No need for anything elaborate. Do it 5 days a week and give your body a few weeks to respond. I've seen many of my patients, after 3 or 4 weeks, begin to notice the change. Climbing stairs feels easier. Getting up from a chair feels quicker. Even walking through the park starts to feel more enjoyable. I believe true strength comes from consistency. 1 cup of coffee each morning, add leucine. Move your body a little. That's all. No fanfare, no fuss. Quietly, steadily, day after day, it will give you stronger legs and a renewed sense of confidence. In the next part, I'll share with you the importance of consistency and long-term transformation. How to turn this practice into something so natural that it no longer feels like exercise, but instead becomes your way of life. And most importantly, I'll tell you real stories of people who found their youthful strength again, simply by beginning with 1 morning cup of coffee. There's one thing I've learned over more than 30 years of working with older adults. Big changes often come from the smallest habits repeated over time. You don't need to turn your whole life upside down to get healthier. You just need to plant a seed, tend to it each day, and patiently watch it grow. Leucine in your morning coffee is exactly that kind of seed. When you stay consistent, it doesn't just wake up your muscles. It plants a belief deep inside you. I can still be strong. I can still take charge of my life. And that belief is every bit as important as the grams of leucine you stir into your cup. I remember one of my patients, Caroline, 75, she told me, "The best part isn't that I can climb stairs more easily. It's that I don't feel helpless anymore. I know I can still do things for my grandchildren and for myself." Her words moved me deeply, because true health isn't just about muscle. It's about the feeling that your life is full, meaningful, and still your own. Consistency is the key. 1 cup of leucine coffee today won't transform you overnight, but if you make it as natural as brushing your teeth or greeting your loved ones in the morning, you'll begin to notice the difference. In a few weeks, a few months, your legs will feel steadier. Your posture will be straighter. Your breathing will come easier. And your eyes, believe me, will shine with a new kind of confidence. Some of my patients have even turned this ritual into a moment of quiet reflection. They sit by the window, sip their coffee, feel the leucine blending into every swallow, then stand to do a few light movements. They tell me that moment is like a gentle reminder. Each day I can choose to get stronger. At that point, it's no longer just an exercise. It becomes a way of life. When you maintain your muscles, you're not only pushing back against sarcopenia, you're unlocking a cascade of benefits, a faster metabolism, better blood sugar control, stronger bones and joints, sharper memory, and above all, you're preserving independence, the freedom to walk, to live life on your own terms, to savor every moment with your family and friends. I believe growing older is not a sentence, it's a new chapter, one you can write with strength, confidence, and wisdom. And sometimes it all begins with something as simple as stirring a spoonful of leucine into your morning coffee. So next time you pour yourself a cup, remember, inside it may lie the key to youthful strength, to independence, and to a longer, fuller, more joyful life. Are you ready to give it a try? Let me walk with you, one morning, one step at a time, because I believe you deserve a later life that is strong, free, and filled with joy. Remember this, my friend. Strength isn't just measured in muscles. It's measured in the confidence you feel when you take each step, in the freedom to live life on your own terms, and in the joy of sharing moments with the people you love. And if something as simple as a spoonful of leucine in your coffee can help you hold onto that strength, isn't it worth trying? If today's message gave you hope, I'd be honored if you subscribe to this channel. That way we can keep walking together, one morning at a time, toward a stronger, freer, and more vibrant life.